Hello everyone. In the previous video, we learned about unit and measurement, in which we discuss various type of system of unit used in physics, and we also discuss various types of method of measurement to measure various physical quantities. In today's topic, we are going to study about dimension and dimensional analysis, which is a very important topic of this chapter. So watch the complete video to understand the topic, and you can also visit our website newerasolution.in for the further study material. So the first topic is dimensions. As we already study in SI system of units that there are 7 fundamental physical quantity or 7 fundamental physical units which are used to express all physical quantities, whether they are fundamental or derived, for which we have to multiply or divide the fundamental units. So dimensions are basically those power of fundamental units or quantity which are raised to express any other physical quantity. For example, as you know, the SI unit of length is meter, but if we want to express area, then the SI unit of area is meter square. Similarly, the SI unit of volume is meter cube. So if you observe, in these three cases, the unit which we are using is meter, but with a different power. So for length, the power of meter is 1. For area, the power of meter is 2, and for volume, the power of meter is 3. Is must to express these quantity. So these power of the fundamental unit meter are the dimensions. So basically, dimensions are the power of fundamental units, and different fundamental units have different power or dimensions respect to the physical quantity. Next is dimension formula. So to express different physical quantity, we raise the power of different fundamental units, and when we arrange these fundamental units with their respective dimensions in a group, that group is called dimensional formula. For example, in the given case, the dimension of length is L raised to power 1. Mass having dimension 0 because there is no mass in the length, and time also have dimension 0 because length do not depend on time. Similarly, for area, the length has dimension 2, mass has dimension 0, time also have dimension 0. Then for volume, the dimension of mass is 0, the dimension of length is 3 due to meter, and dimension of time is 0. So the set of fundamental quantities with their respective power or dimension is known as dimension formula. And the next term which we use is dimensional equation. So whenever a physical quantity is equated with its respective dimension formula, then it will form equation which is known as dimensional equation. For example, when length equated with m0 l1 t0, so this become the dimensional equation of length. Similarly, for area, the dimensional equation is A is equal to m0 l2 t0, and for volume, the dimensional equation is m0 l3 t0. So for different physical quantity, we can make their respective dimensional equation by equating them with their respective dimensional formulas. Now let's take some example that how we write the dimension of a physical quantity. So to write the dimension of a physical quantity, either you remember its any formula or you remember its unit. For example, if we want to write the dimension of density, then the formula of density is mass by volume. As we know, the dimension of mass is m because it is fundamental, and dimension of volume is L3. Then the dimension formula of density is m1 L minus 3 T 0. Similarly, if you use the unit of dimension, that is kg per meter cube, from there kg represent mass and meter cube represent length cube, then again the dimension formula of the density written to be same. So by using this concept you can write the dimensions of various physical quantity. Let's take some more examples like force. So as we know, force is equal to ma from Newton's second law. Then the dimension of mass is m, acceleration is rate of velocity, and velocity is rate of displacement. So the dimension of acceleration is L by t square. From the unit you can also remember acceleration have unit meter per second square. Then the dimension of force is m1 L1 t minus 2. Similarly, you can write the dimension of work. As we know, work is force into displacement. The dimension of force is m1 L1 t minus 2 and dimension of displacement is L. Then the dimension of work done is m1 L2 t minus 2. So use the formula of physical quantity and write its respective dimension. Then there are some physical quantity which have same dimension because somehow they are same. Like if you want to write the dimension of energy, then we know work done and energy both have SI unit joule and they convert into each other, like energy converted into work and work converted into energy. So all the energy like heat energy, mechanical energy, chemical energy, kinetic energy, etc. have same dimension. Then there are also other quantity which also have same dimension, like the dimension of pressure, stress are same. So you can read these dimensions from your book or from the notes and categorize those physical quantity which have same dimensions. So by using dimension we can also categorize physical quantity into 4 categories, like dimensional variable, dimensionless variable, dimensional constant and dimensionless constant. First of all, if we discuss about dimensional variables, so these are those physical quantity which are variable and also have dimensions, like momentum, force, velocity, acceleration, etc. So these physical quantity have different values and they also shows dimensions. The next is dimensionless variable. So these are the physical quantities whose value can be changed but they do not possess dimensions. For example, angle. So angle have various values but it is appeared without dimensions. Then next is strain. So strain also have variable value but it doesn't show dimensions. Next is relative density. So relative density also have different value for different metals or objects but it does not possess dimensions. Then we have refractive index. So refractive index also are variable quantities without dimensions. The next category we have dimensional constants. So there are some physical quantities whose values are constant but they possess dimensions, like universal gravitational constant capital G, Planck constant H, etc. So to find the dimension of these constants we can use their formulas, like from Newton's law of gravitation we have F is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. So we can find the dimension of G by putting the dimension of force, distance and masses. Similarly, to find the dimension of Planck constant we have a formula, energy of a photon is h nu. So the dimension of Planck constant is dimension of energy upon dimension of frequency. So by putting the value of respective physical quantity we can find the dimension of these constants. And the last category of physical quantities are dimensionless constants. So these are the physical quantities whose value are constant and they do not show dimensions, like all the numbers 1, 2, 3, etc. So all the numbers have a constant value without dimensions. Then pi, which is also a irrational number and doesn't have dimensions. So beside from categorize the physical quantities, dimensional equation also have various application which are very useful. So before using dimensional equation in their application, we have to study principle of homogeneity. Principle of homogeneity is a very important concept to study before using the dimensional equations. So it states that only like quantities are added or subtracted. For example, length is added in length and velocity is subtracted in velocity. We cannot add length with velocity, or we cannot subtract mass from length. To illustrate that, let's take an example in which we subtract a length of 3 meter from the length of 10 meter. Then we get the remaining length 7 meter. So if you observed, the magnitude of length changed to 7. When 10 minus 3 we get 7, but the dimension in these three cases are same. That means meter minus meter is equal to meter, or when we add length into length we get length, and we add mass into mass we get mass, irrespective to the change in magnitude. So in that case, when we focus on dimensions, we ignore the magnitude and we just apply principle of homogeneity on the addition and subtraction of physical quantity. For example, when velocity added to velocity, it will also provide velocity. That is, the dimension formula of velocity is Lt minus 1. It is added to another velocity which is also have dimension Lt minus 1. Then the result also have the same dimension Lt minus 1. So when same dimensions are added or subtracted, the result also have the same dimension. This concept is applicable to addition and subtraction of dimension formula or physical quantities, but it is not applicable to the multiplication and fraction of various physical quantities. The first application of dimensional equation is that by using dimensional equation we can check the correctness or consistency of a given equation or a given formula. That is, if an equation or a formula is correct, then the dimension of its left hand side have to be equal to the dimension of its right hand side. And if the dimension of left hand side is not equal to dimension of right hand side, then the formula is incorrect. For example, let's take a formula S is equal to ut plus half at square, which is the second equation of motion, and we want to check its dimensional consistency. Then the dimension of left hand side, that is displacement, is L. Now the dimension of right hand side, that is velocity, having dimension Lt minus 1, then time having dimension t plus half, which is a number which do not possess dimension, acceleration having dimension Lt minus 2, and again time having dimension t square due to its power. Then t is cancelled out, so we get L. Again t is cancelled out due to their positive and negative power, again we get L. Then from principle of homogeneity, length plus length is equal to length. So if you observed, the dimension of left hand side and the dimension of right hand side are equal, that's why the formula is correct. And if they do not match, then we can say the formula is incorrect. So you can apply this concept to different formulas and check whether these are correct or incorrect. The next application of dimension is that by using dimensional equation we can also find the dimension or the formula of a given constant or any unknown terms mentioned in the formula. So if we have an equation like this, P is equal to B minus X upon A T square, where P represent power, T represent time and X represent distance, and we have to find the dimension of A and B. Then first of all, B and X are subtracting from each other, which shows that they have same dimension according to principle of homogeneity. Then the dimension of B have to be same as dimension of X according to principle of homogeneity. That means the dimension of B is L. Now we are going to find the dimension of A. So for A, that is B minus X upon P T square. We put the dimension of respective quantities, that is L minus L upon the dimension of power is M1 L2 T minus 3. Then the dimension of T square due to the power of time. By solving this, L minus L is L again according to principle of homogeneity. M L square, and when base are same, power are added, T minus 1. By simplifying it, we get M minus 1, L minus 1 and T plus L square become L minus 2 when it move upward. So the dimension of A is M minus 1, L minus 1 and T 1. So by using the principle of homogeneity, we can find the dimension of any constant. In another example, we have van der Waals formula for the real gases, in which P represent pressure, V represent volume, R is a gas constant, T is temperature and N represent number of moles of the gas, and A and B are the unknown constant whose dimension we are going to find. Then again, from principle of homogeneity, if B is subtracting from volume, then dimension of B have to be equal to dimension of volume. Then dimension of B is L cube. Similarly, that term A related with V square added to pressure. So the dimension of pressure have to be equal to dimension of A by V square. Then the dimension of A is dimension of P into dimension of V square. Then the dimension of pressure is M1 L minus 1 T minus 2 into the dimension of volume is L cube whole square. So we get M1 L minus 1 and plus 6 become plus 5 T minus 2. So by using principle of homogeneity, we can find the dimension of constant without using the complete formula, and we can just use a particular section in which some quantities are added or subtracted. Let's take one more type of the problem in which force is equal to Ax minus Bt square, where F is force, X is distance and T is time, and A and B are the constant whose dimension we are going to find. So if we focus on the term Ax minus Bt square, they are subtracting from each other, but in both the terms there is one unknown value. So it's not good to apply principle of homogeneity on these two terms. So what we do, as we know, these two terms are subtracting and equated with force. So the dimension of force have to be equal to dimension of Ax, and dimension of force also have to be equal to dimension of Bt square, because when force added or subtracted to force, it will give force. So the dimension of A is force by X and dimension of B is force by T square. So by solving it, m1 L1 T minus 2 divided by L. The dimension of A is mt minus 2. Similarly, when we put the dimension of force m1 L1 T minus 2 and it divided by T square, then dimension of B become m1 L1 T minus 4. So we can also apply principle of homogeneity not on the term which are added or subtracted, but we can also equate these term with the another side of the equation. The next application of dimensional equation is that by using this concept we can establish the relation among various physical quantities. For example, let's take an illustration in which the potential energy which depend on mass, acceleration due to gravity and height of the object, but we don't know the power of these physical quantity and their respective position. So we let the power of mass is A, the power of gravity is B and the power of height is C. Now we put their respective dimensional formula. Then energy is m1 L2 T minus 2 proportional mass m power A, acceleration due to gravity L T minus 2 whole power B, and height then again it is length power C. So m1 L2 T minus 2 proportional to, simplify it, m power A, length power B plus power C, so power B plus C, and time power T minus 2B. As we know, energy depend on the combination of these three terms, so the respective power of physical quantities have to be same. So we can equate the dimension of mass with dimension of mass both the side. Then A is equal to 1. By equating the dimension of length, we get B plus C is equal to 2, and by equating the dimension of time, we get minus 2B is equal to minus 2. So B is equal to 1, A is already 1. By putting the value of B, we get 1 plus C is equal to 2 and C is equal to 1. So we get the value of power A, B and C. By putting these value in the above equation, we get m1 g1 h1. So the potential energy of an object depend on mass, gravity and height according to this concept. So we can apply the same concept on various dependency in which a physical quantity depend on other physical quantities. Let's take one more example in which the time period of a pendulum is depend on the mass of bob, the acceleration due to gravity and the length of pendulum. So we take their respective power A, B and C. You can take power as per your choice. So there is no any particular rule to arrange the order of these power. You can take power of G is C or the power of L is A, but your answer will be same. So now we put the dimension formula of each physical quantities, that is m0, L0, T1. Whenever you use dimension formula, use the full dimension formula in that particular case. So the dimension of mass is A, the dimension of acceleration is Lt minus 2 power B, and the dimension of length is L power C. So m0 L0 T1 proportional to m power A, L power B plus C and T power minus 2B. By equating the power of MLT both the side, we get A is equal to 0. The power of length when equated with power of length, B plus C is equal to 0. And by equating the power of time, we get minus 2B is equal to 1. So B is equal to minus half. By putting the value of B minus half in the given equation, we get C is equal to plus half. Now put the respective values of ABC in the above equation. We get T proportional to M0, G minus half, L plus half. So M is 0. That means time period of a simple pendulum is independent to mass. Whenever a physical quantity is used in a particular formula which do not affect the given physical quantity, it always remove. So we get T proportional to L by G whole power half, which can also express as T proportional to under root L by G. So that's how we can use dimension to establish the relation or derive a particular formula. The next application of dimensional analysis is that by using these dimensions we can also convert a physical quantity from one system of unit to another system of unit. That is, if a physical quantity is having unit U1 in one system and unit U2 in another system, and the magnitude in first system is N1, so we can find the magnitude in another system by using the dimensions. Let the first system U1 is equal to M1 L1 T1 with dimension A, B and C, and the another system U2 are M2 L2 T2 dimension A, B and C. As we know, if the system will change, the dimension will remain same, because when we express the area, it may be meter square, it may be centimeter square, it may be kilometer square. So unit can be changed but dimension will not change. Then by using the expression of measurement, that is N1 U1 always equal to N2 U2. So N2 is N1 U1 by U2. So by putting the value of U1 and U2, we get N2. The magnitude of physical quantity in the new system is N1 M1 L1 T1 with their respective power upon M2 L2 T2 with their respective power. By simplifying it, we finally get N2 is equal to N1 M1 by M2 whole power A, L1 by L2 whole power B and T1 by T2 whole power C. So if we know the dimension of the physical quantity, we can convert its value from one system of unit to another. So let's take an example to illustrate that application. That is, we are going to convert 60 joule energy into a system in which mass is measured as 100 gram, length is measured as 10 centimeter and time is measured as 0.5 second. So these are the standard unit in a new particular system in which we are going to convert 60 joules. So as we know, the dimension of energy is M1 L2 T minus 2. So the first system is MK system in which M1 L1 T1 are kg, meter and second, and M2 L2 T2 are given 100 gram, 10 centimeter and half second. Then by using the expression of measurement N1 U1 is equal to N2 U2, we get N2 is equal to N1 M1 by M2 power A, L1 by L2 power B and T1 by T2 power C. In our case, N1 is 60, M1 is kg, M2 is 100 gram and the power of M is 1. Then L1 is meter, L2 is 10 centimeter and the power of length is 2. Then time T1 is 1, T2 is half whole power minus 2. Now we convert kg meter second with respect to gram centimeter second to solve the given problem. So we get N2 is equal to 60,000 gram by 100 gram per 100 centimeter by 10 centimeter per 2, and as second is cancel out, 2 की power minus 2. So 2 0 cancel out, gram cancel out, centimeter cancel out, 1 0 cancel out. By simplifying it, we get 60 into 10 raised to power 1, 10 raised to power 2 into 1 by 2 square. So N2 is equal to 60 into 10 into 100 divided by 4. So we get 15 for the 60, and 2 is equal to 15 into 10 raised to power 3 units. So 60 joule in MK system is equal to 15 into 10 की power 3 unit in the given system. So by using this concept, you can convert any system of unit into another system of unit. So next application of dimensional equation is that by using dimensional equation, we can write the dimension of a physical quantity in terms of any given system. As we know, mass, length and time are the fundamental physical quantity, and all the physical quantities have their dimension in terms of m, l and t. But if in any question there are certain set of physical quantities are given which are proposed to be fundamental quantities, in that case we also express any physical quantity in the given set of system. For example, if we have to write the dimension of power in terms of force, length and time, then we can use dimensional concept to express the dimension. For that we can take power depend on force, length and time with the respective dimension A, B and C. Then by putting their respective older dimension, that is M1, L2, T minus 3 proportional to M1, L1, T minus 2 per A, length per B, time per C. Then M1, L2, T minus 3 proportional to M per 1, L per A plus B and time per minus 2A plus C. By equating the respective dimension, we get A is equal to 1, A plus B is equal to 2 and minus 2A plus C is equal to minus 3. So by putting the value of A, 1 plus B is equal to 2 and B is equal to 1. Then by putting the value of A, minus 2 plus C is equal to minus 3 and C is equal to minus 1. So we get A is equal to 1, B is equal to 1 and C is equal to 1. By putting the value of A, B and C, we get the dimension of power in terms of force, length and time, that is 1, 1, minus 1. So power can be written as a new system FLT F1 L1 T minus 1. The same concept you can use to express the dimension of any physical quantity in a given set of units. Beside from the various application, dimensional analysis also has some limitations. For example, when we are going to derive the relation between a physical quantity with other physical quantity and it depend on more than 3 physical quantity, then this method is not applicable. Second, it doesn't provide the information about the constant which introduced in the given equation. So in the equation of kinetic energy which depend on mass and velocity, we know the kinetic energy is half mv square, but dimensional method will not provide that information. The third limitation is that when we are going to derive a formula and it have more than one terms in one side, then again it will fail to determine the another part of the equation. There is also another limitation of dimensional method, that it will not provide any information about the trigonometric terms, logarithm terms or exponential terms used in any given formula. So this is about dimension and dimensional application. I hope you understand the topic. Now you can practice more and more questions based on it, and if you have any doubt you can write in comment box, email us, or you can also visit our website newerasolution.in.